What's going down, guys? We are back, and check this out. This is the Phanteks Eclipse P400, the tempered glass version. So Phanteks sent this out to me a while back, and I finally decided to go ahead and throw a build in it. If you guys can't tell, this is my former budget build that I've actually thrown into this case. So I actually checked out the P400 at CES 2016, and what Phanteks was saying at that time is they designed this case around first-time system builders. So they've kind of taken that design, thrown a tempered glass side panel on it, and I think it actually looks pretty legit. So now that I've had some time to build in the case, I think we should jump back in time and let's review it. Alright, so let's start by breaking this thing down. So we've got a plastic panel up front along with vents on the top and bottom for airflow. Both vents have these tiny removable filters to keep the dust buildup to a minimum, although it looks like a little dust may squeak past the top filter. I think when covering the entire front intake would have been a better solution, but I'm sure this was done for cost reasons. And speaking of the front intake, the P400 comes with a single 120mm fan up front, although the case supports up to two 140mm or three 120mm fans. And if you're water cooling, you can install up to a 360mm radiator as long as you remove the mid-plate bracket on the PSU shroud. On the top of the case, we've got our front I/O, which includes two USB 3.0 ports along with mic and headphone jacks. I personally like to see 4 USB ports up front on an ATX case, even if 2 of them are USB 2.0, because it gives you the capability to plug in a controller and a headset or cell phone or whatever else without having to route that stuff to the back. Up top, there's also your power and reset buttons. These are SATA powered, by the way, along with an RGB LED controller that will allow you to control the LED strip up front that sits just above the Phanteks logo. There's also a separate RGB LED strip that Phanteks includes in the box, which you can install wherever you want. It's magnetic, although not that strong. All you have to do is connect it to the pre-existing wiring here. The wiring could be a little bit better hidden in my opinion, but it's not a huge deal. There's also a magnetic dust filter on the top, which if you plan on running your fans as intake is a plus, although it is worth noting that there is no top radiator support with the P400. Moving on to the back of the case, you can see there is an included 120mm fan. Not sure which specific Phanteks model this is, although it's definitely not one sold separately on their website. There's also 7 PCI slots for your graphics card and other things, along with a bottom-mounted power supply. There is a removable dust filter down here as well, which is nice, and I do have to commend Phanteks on having some type of filter at all major points, because dusty cases definitely suck. Now, the star of the show is, of course, the tempered glass side panel, and I do have to say I really enjoy it. This large, clear glass opens everything up so much, it's almost like you don't even have a side panel in a way, because you can see every piece of the interior. If I had to change one thing though, it'd be the way you remove the tempered glass panel. So right now it's held on by 4 thumb screws, and the removal process feels like removing your car windshield. Carrying the glass side panel in my hand makes me feel like I'm either A, gonna drop it, or B, I gotta keep a bottle of Windex and a terry cloth nearby because now it's got 1,000 fingerprints on it. I really wouldn't mind having a hinge system similar to what's found on the Inwin 303. That makes it much easier to access the interior and also eliminates the possibility of someone swinging the door open and breaking the glass against your desk or something. As for the interior design of the case, I'd have to say it's simple, but very well thought out. The rubber grommets and cutouts for the front panel connectors are in the right places, and that helps to make your cable routing easy. The PSU shroud, which covers the bottom compartment of your case, helps keep the main area looking super clean. You really don't even need a modular power supply to have good cable management in this case, which is a plus for someone on a budget. As for CPU and GPU clearance, you've got up to 170mm of space for your CPU cooler, which should allow you to run some beefy tower coolers. Even the typical Hyper 212 Evo or CryoRig H7 will fit easily in this case. GPU clearance is up to 395mm without the optional hard drive brackets installed, which means you can run pretty much any graphics card on the market today. Taking a look at the back side of the motherboard, you can see the included Velcro straps for our cable management, 2 SSD mounting locations, and both trays are finally included. Thank you, Phanteks. The bottom compartment is where you will install your power supply. There's up to 270 millimeters of clearance there, which is nice. There's also a removable drive cage for installing 3.5-inch or 2.5-inch drives. And if that's not enough, Phanteks sells brackets separately that will allow you to add up to 4 additional drives in the main compartment. So considering the size of this case, I'd say that's not a bad amount of storage options. As for closing thoughts, I think Phanteks has shown with the P400 that premium build materials don't make the case. You still need to make smart design choices, and they've definitely done that here. The case is extremely easy to build in. You really don't have to worry about clearance for certain components. Cable management is easy enough regardless of PSU choice. Even someone with little experience should have no problem putting together a decent looking build in the P400. One thing worth noting is if you need extensive water cooling support, you'll probably want to go a different route as radiator support is limited here. I'd probably step up to the N Pro M or something like that if that's a concern for you. Regardless, this case definitely gets a recommendation from me for those budget conscious and first time builders. If you want the tempered glass version, it can be had for 80 bucks online at the time of this review, which is also the cheapest tempered glass option at the moment. Anyway guys, that's pretty much all I have to say. Let me know what you think about this case down in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video if you like this type of content, subscribe if you haven't already, and until next time, see ya.